Oh yeah, I need to turn on live streaming through
Also,
Stupid.
this is just a flag. I don't know if this is something we can fix like right now, but the dimensions on the stream were weird. It was I think 4:3
Really?
instead of like the regular video size. Yeah, because I mean, just look at the
Yeah.
like the layover was cut.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something we can fix. It's not a big deal. Just
I think
flag it for you.
Yeah, I think I was able to get it fixed for today.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's an OBS setting, but I can't.
I think we figured out all the stuff you got wrong down.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Boom. Thank you. Oh, okay. Now I have immediate. Hate streaming. It's just YouTube.
Things are not done.
Boom. Just we're live now on YouTube. Video. We're live on YouTube.
That's widescreen. Yeah.
Yes, widescreen. Yes, I need. sounds off.
I'm feeding sound.
What?
I said I'm feeding sound.
Okay. Okay, the sound sounds much better already.
It should be like background noise. Can you fix my hair real quick? You're gonna hear in like 5 seconds.
to Leaders of Tomorrow Day 3. Those of you that were here yesterday know me, but for those of you that don't, my name is Bailey Nona, and like Mariana just said, I'm the Chief of Staff here at Leaders of Tomorrow, and I'm also the youngest member of our national team. We're so excited to welcome you to the last day of the 2023 Leaders of Tomorrow Summit. It's been so inspiring to watch the summit grow before my eyes and see so many new faces and learn so many new things. This movement isn't about one organization, one voice, or one person. It's about all of us. It's about the power of our collective actions and the strength we show when we work together. My favorite part of being a part of Leaders of Tomorrow and being here is the people. I love these people as friends, peers, colleagues, John Delafonte, and our elected allies such as Councilmember Chiose and Councilor Justin Singh. We're eager to get started, but I want to give a few important reminders. Water is always available out in the foyer, and please follow us on social media if you haven't already. We're Voters Tomorrow on everything. And please find a staff member if you have any questions at all. Again, thank you so much for being here, and another special shout out to our amazing special context team for putting this together. We can't wait to get started. Thank you. One minute.
So what we want to start off with is, as we know, as you guys were all in policy caucuses yesterday, we wanted to thank you for your participation in that and kind of reflect on that. So throughout the summit, we've talked and heard a lot about the crises we were facing and the obstacles standing in the way of those changes that we see in the world. So it's easy to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or burnt out by our current circumstances. We hope these discussions reminded you why you are doing the amazing work that you are doing and inspired you to keep fighting together alongside all of your new friends in the great struggle for a better day. So, while you may have only been able to participate in 2 of the 8 policy caucuses we've been on, we wanted you to be able to hear about what the other policy caucuses talked about. And more importantly, we wanted to start the final day of the summit by re-energizing you to remember not only the technical we're fighting for, what you were all at least mostly. And I want to preface that this is not an exhaustive list, so if something's not on it does not mean that it's not something we all support, but some of the issues you conquer now. So how we want to do this is if you hear something you like, love, or something that just makes you excited to keep fighting for the future, give it a hand, get excited, whatever it may be. We want you to hear it, we want you to hear it. So I'm going to start us off with education, since I love that one. So we believe that our public schools should be equitably funded so every student, no matter their zip code, has access to a high quality education. We are fighting for an education system that meets the wants and needs of students, and that means universal school meals because no student can be expected to do their best on their stomach. Enacting a robust curriculum that prepares students with the skills they need to be informed citizens like financial literacy, civics education, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and truthful, holistic history. To us, but apparently our leaders and our school administrators need to know this as well. Students with disabilities have rights too, and they should be protected and expanded from their current state. And this means ending problematic disciplinary practices like seclusion that disproportionately harm students with disabilities. Education is not one size fits all, and a just education system makes students aware of all the opportunities in front of them. Career, technical, and vocational opportunities should be accessible in every school to every student. We should recognize that not everyone wants to or needs to go to college, but if you choose to pursue any education beyond high school, you should be able to do so without cost being a barrier to entry. And lastly, we are fighting for an education system where students have a voice and actual say in what happens, in a world where our rights as students are codified into law to ensure that wannabe dictators can no longer infringe on our educational experiences. And like I said, that's not an exhaustive list, but that is what we were able to discuss in the policy caucus. So I will also be doing finals since I was the second one I led. So we believe fundamentally in a climate policy that is accessible, inclusive, and intersectional. And this could have gone in the education category as well, but understanding the science behind climate change is essential to creating informed citizens and must be taught in schools. And we are fighting to rapidly expand clean energy public transportation options, and for those that do need a car, we need to make sure that electric vehicles are affordable and accessible to all. We recognize the need to combat deforestation, protect old growth forests, and increase the amount of trees and green spaces that exist. I'll figure out the ones at some point. Additionally, we need to invest in and incentivize sustainable agriculture practices so every community can receive fresh food without large monopolies destroying the land or exploiting farmers, and we need to make that food affordable too. We need to hold corporate and government entities accountable for damages they cause and make sure those affected are given the justice they deserve. And ultimately, we know the climate crisis is here. Let's go outside. And we need to be building not only the infrastructure to prevent it from getting worse, but also climate resilient infrastructure which protects those who are already facing significant effects. And we need to stop agreeing to fossil fuel contracts and projects and instead rapidly increase our clean energy contracts and projects. And lastly, for workers and communities affected, we need to make sure that their livelihoods are not negatively affected by providing retraining and ensuring that the creation of these clean energy jobs are in their communities and that these jobs are union jobs to ensure they receive a livable wage and have the protections they need to work safely in the community. And I'm going to pass this off to Zach Peters, one of our senior operations advisors, to talk about how
How's everyone doing this morning? Alright, just moving right into it, we actually covered a lot in our environmental test, so we're going to go over some of this here. Obviously, the overarching goal is that we don't think that anyone should have to live lives in fear of being shot, whether it's community violence, mass shootings, or accidental deaths. And what we, and some of our proposals were that we need to stop and we need to end ghost guns by having traceable serial numbers on all guns and on every removable piece of that gun with a registration period of 60 days or less. We need to ban assault weapons. We need to limit the amount of rounds that a gun can have. We need to limit the rate of fire for those weapons. We need to require permits for all guns and require special permits for certain firearms, similar to how you can drive a car with a license, but you need a CDL to drive an 18-wheeler. You need to have any sort of permit to own a handgun, but if you want a high capacity, or I guess a high capacity assault rifle, you need to have specialized permits that basically cover that you can actually handle that gun. We need to raise the minimum age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21. We need to require safe storage with accountability for any violations of that safe storage. And to repair some of the damages that have already been done, we need to reallocate resources from FEMA to repair damages of mass shootings, and as well as include mass shootings in the FEMA warning system. And some of the big ones, we need to hold the gun industry accountable. We need to take down the NRA. We need interagency collaboration to do that. And a couple of fun ones that you don't hear about very often. We need insurance for gun ownership. We need to stop gun manufacturers from marketing to young people. We need to require inspection of firearms, similar to how we require inspection of our vehicles. If you have something that has the capability to kill somebody, it needs to be inspected. And a big one here, we need to close the gun show loophole by instituting mandatory background checks on all purchases of firearms, whether from a gun show, a private seller, or from a licensed dealer. And lastly, we need to stop making schools feel like prisons by instituting metal detectors, etc. But we need to endorse responsible gun ownership with less of a focus on those metal detectors and police in schools. We believe that these provisions need to be enacted as well as invest in mental health to prevent death by suicide. We need to have public therapy outlets that are free of use for all citizens. We need Medicare and Medicaid to cover mental health. And we need to require private insurance to cover mental health as well. And that's actually all that I have for gun violence. Obviously, we can't cover everything in an hour, but I think we got a pretty good scope of it. I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to Kate for foreign policy.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. So, going into foreign policy, we need to restore the United States reputation from both recent and historic wrongs. We need to acknowledge and apologize for those past wrongs, as well as take financial responsibility to restore injustices like the use of landmines via the military budget. As well as have military accountability.
justice for all marginalized communities, and that no one should be subjected to discrimination on the basis of who they are. We believe in affirmative action because institutions should be representative of all of us. We believe in justice for people with disabilities and believe in expanding upon the Americans with Disabilities Act. We believe in gender and LGBTQ plus justice, and that means, among other things, ending sex-based discrimination by ratifying the Equal Rights Amendment as the 28th Amendment to the United States Constitution. We believe in protecting the rights of the indigenous communities and doing all that we can to attempt to reconcile past atrocities. And we believe that voting is a right and should be easier to do, not harder. People, not corporations, should decide elections. Moving on to economic justice, we recognize that mass transit access is not only a climate issue, but also an economic justice issue. We believe in raising the poverty level threshold to ensure anyone struggling to make ends meet has access to federal benefits. We believe in increasing the minimum wage to a livable wage. We believe in a progressive tax code. We know that we can't continue to subsidize corporations that use their subsidies on stock buybacks. We believe in ending child poverty by enacting a permanent child tax credit. We believe in joining the rest of the world and making it free and easy to file your taxes. We believe in a social safety net that takes care of your basic needs and that includes universal health care and higher education. We believe housing is a human right. And lastly, we believe in the power of labor unions and ensuring that all of us have the right to collectively bargain to ensure we're protected from workplace discrimination and paid livable wages and just benefits. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava Pilata, and I'm first going to be talking about reproductive justice. So one of our core theories is that we should have a strategy rooted in healthcare, research, which all honors gender diversity, disability status, racial justice, economic equality, and all other intersections of social justice movements within the reproductive justice movement. An understanding of the right to self-determination, something that should not be challenged in a country built on so-called American individualism, and how it underlies many issues of the reproductive justice movement. A reproductive justice movement centered in violence protection, an understanding that restricting the right to abortion has too often trapped survivors of domestic violence in their relationship, and that many consider state abortion bans to be a form of state violence. Centering survivors of sexual violence in our work, understanding how their relationship to bodily autonomy and reproductive justice may differ from others, regardless if there was a pregnancy resulting from their assaults, and incorporating this viewpoint into our work. Recognizing how mental health and disability status interact with forced pregnancy and how dangerous it can be for those who can no longer take life-saving medication if they fall pregnant. It has already been mentioned, but it's worth shouting it again, but fighting for an equal rights amendment both on the federal and state levels. Fighting and crafting state ballot abortion referendums. Eliminating barriers, whether it's economic or travel barriers, to abortion in legal states. And this also includes things like eliminating waiting periods, providing more insurance coverage, eliminating parental consent, and providing accommodations for disabled people in the process of getting an abortion.
We also understand that we must have a more comprehensive sex ed curriculum that that also includes LGBTQ sex ed. And this curriculum should not be dependent on what state you live in or what high school you go to. We must defund and remove crisis pregnancy centers. We have to prioritize providing gender-affirming care and trans health care to LGBTQ people in South. And we understand the steps to get to the reproductive justice movement that we want to see includes fighting for menstrual equity, especially high-quality menstrual products in schools and higher education. We must end shame and stigma around abortion and affirm that abortion is healthcare. And we must understand that reproductive justice does not end at the right to choose whether or not you have a child. It also involves the right to raise a child and making it affordable so that having a child is not a privilege of the wealthy in this country. And we know that our movement must always be intersectional and center women while also including people who are susceptible to pregnancy but are not women themselves. And finally, we must be able to partner with religious communities, especially groups like Catholics for Choice, who are able to provide insight on the intersection between religion and reproductive justice. And finally, we must continue to fund birth control and make birth control widely available, including options like an IUD. And now I'm just going to go back to our next policy caucus, which was democracy. We understand that our democracy reform strategy must be rooted in core philosophies of making democracy more accessible, more transparent, and more equitable for all Americans. We must fight for an end to racial gerrymandering and a vigilance that ensures that redistricting maps are being created constitutionally and out further suppressing the views of marginalized groups. We must ensure that messaging from politicians no longer talks about how our democracy is at risk in unprecedented ways as a fear tactic, when so many marginalized Americans understand how those rights have been denied for people like them for the majority of the history of this country. Instead, we must prioritize positive messaging that uplifts and highlights the continued work of protecting democracy and honors the history of the marginalized groups that have fought to protect it. We understand that the right to see and shape our communities includes our rights to recruit candidates that stand for us. And we must be subsequently able to hold candidates accountable who do not hold true on their promises to stand for us, and focus our energy on those who do. We recognize that the fact that different groups operating in the democracy reform space will have different theories of change and different ways about how they can achieve the change they want to see. And a Gen Z coalition on democracy reform does not have to have all the same strategy if it is largely united on principle things. We want to fight for a comprehensive civic education program that is not only available to students in certain states or certain countries. And finally, we continue to fight for the idea that a healthy democracy is one that allows those interested in making positive change to do so both inside and outside our political system.
All right, so the things you guys were able to talk about yesterday and spend 2 hours, as you heard for yourself, was really amazing. So give yourself a hand for that. Yeah, so I think it's hopefully got you re-energized. I know it's the last day. I know some of you and including ourselves up here are very tired and pushing to the end, but I just hope that reinvigorated you and reminded you of all things we're fighting for together and the world that we can and will deserve and do deserve. And yeah, I'm excited and everyone on the stage is excited to continue to fight alongside with you. So Thank you for participating in yesterday's policy caucuses. And thank you guys.
And thank you to Ryan and Kate for all their work organizing the policy caucuses.
Thank you guys so much. I know that everyone really enjoyed all the legislative pursuits yesterday and the caucuses, and I'm really glad we had an opportunity to talk about that. Up next, we've got a couple panels coming through. The first one is going to be a panel on Gen Z and leadership in local politics, which is really exciting. And then a little bit later, we have another fantastic other food, and we're going to have a panel on Gen Z organizing across issues. So yeah, and if you feel free to listen to that, we're going to keep on going. Okay, everyone. First up, we've got Key Osei, New York City Councilman. Youngest elected official.
New Hampton.
Justin Singh, Bedford City Councilman. And Isaiah Martin, Community Organizer.
How are we feeling this morning? That's been great. BC? Hello. Good morning. Well, first of all, welcome you guys here for the Thursday of tomorrow. You guys having a good time? That was kind of weak, you know. Are you guys having a good time, bro? Yeah. That's what I like. And they've been doing such a good job of putting together so many good informative sessions with all learn, network, engage. And I think that's what this is really all about. In order for young people to come together and to build political movements in this country, we have to come together. We have to be united. We have to be able to unite on a common purpose of delivering results for all. Because I know one thing for sure. Anybody is going to bring change in this country, it's us. Alright? So, we have a great panel here today with two amazing change makers. They do things in a way that shake the table, in a way that delivers results. So, first of all, instead of letting me be the one that let's have them introduce themselves. So, let's start.
Thank you so much. Well, hi everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Thank you, DOT, for having us today and for this excellent panel. Over the last 3 days, I've gotten to know a decent number of you guys, and I'm so inspired by all of your work too. My name is Justin. I'm a city councilor in Medford, Massachusetts. It's the fastest. Let's give it up for that, right? It's the fastest growing city in the Northeast according to the U.S. Census Bureau. We are a city of over 60,000, just outside Boston. We're home to Boston University. And I'm the first Asian American, first person of color, and youngest elected in. Woo! Wow, that's a tough act to follow. Thank you so much for having me here, voters of tomorrow. It's so great to see this crowd and audience here today. I'm your city council member, Key Osei. I represent the district in Brooklyn, New York, which consists of the neighborhood of Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights. I never thought I would run for office before. I've always been interested in politics. I would say that being born Black in this country is political in and of itself. It wasn't until the summer of 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, I, like I'm sure many of you in this room, wanted to speak up against the racial injustices that we were seeing in this country. I took to the streets
troubled me and made me want to run for office. So I ran at 22 years old against people who were decades older than me, endorsed by some of the establishment organizations of New York City, but we galvanized a record number of young people to come out and vote in a local election, and I ended up getting elected to be the youngest representative in New York City history.
I see a follow-up question to that. I know that for a lot of young people, when they run for office, they see the endorsement that some folks might get, and they're part of the more establishment training. You got elected. How many endorsements did you get from you?
Yeah, I mean, I got endorsements from a lot of these grassroots organizations, and I think as a progressive, we talk a lot about the machine. As someone that ran without any connections to politics, I was competing for another type of machine, right? The progressive machine that still did not want to support an individual like myself because I was too young or too green in government. But all of the labor unions endorsed, my opponent. He was a district leader in the Democratic Party. He was a community board chair. And he had all like this music money, real estate money. But again, we were a grassroots organization that galvanized young people. Every single person that worked on my campaign team, or at least 90% of them, never worked in politics before. They were artists and musicians, and we all contributed that craft to a local city council race, which excited people, which got people excited and brought them out to vote in a local election.
Look at that. There you go. And that brings us right into the next question, because for many young people, running for office seems like climbing a mountain. You see all of these obstacles that may be in front of you, and you wonder whether or not you can do it from it. And so, describe that moment, that catalyst moment, when you really decided you wanted to run for office. I know that it probably took some thought, but what is that moment when you finally realize, I want to run for office, and did anybody discourage you?
Cool, yeah. I think, I've been asked this a couple times before, and it really is hard for me to pinpoint certain moments. I keep trying to think of when it was. It was probably in that bedroom. That's a good point. I remember, though, that the environment around me, and I remember the why more. I remember as he was talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, in my city, we've had marches protests. We've had Asian activities happen in the streets. And I just started to ask myself if no one spoke about what was happening, and I thought it was important to treat the election as a forum to talk about uncomfortable issues, and to make people uncomfortable, and to ask ourselves and ask our leaders to do better. I remember talking to a lot of elected officials. I was a non-voting member of the school board before. This is community. And a lot of the school board members and city councilors at the time, more progressive folks, I think encouraged me to run. They actually worked personally to mention in a conversation. I think it's really important to encourage people to run as well. I think, especially for women, especially for BIPOC folks, is, we always call ourselves, we have a resume, we need more prepared. And honestly, we are prepared enough. We don't need a fancy resume, your life experience is your resume. And ultimately, we're electing officials because they bring in unique communication, because they bring that experience. And I think that was the kind of ultimate motivation for me to feel myself motivated to kind of start hiking this transformation, and to really push forward even
Yeah, I think it definitely took a unconventional path to how I got here. Again, I never thought I would run for office before, but I was pissed off at the lack of leadership within my city government, the complacency that existed within the body that affects our lives as workers. And I remember in the second week of protesting, I was, stuck between the rock and the hard place of thinking, where is this going after this, right? I don't want this to just be, had a group of people around me that had that same mentality of wanting to see something new. And that's how that came to fruition, of course. There were people telling me I was crazy and crazy. So they were right about that. But they were telling me I was too young to not run, that I would never win. And, you know, I took all of that and used it as fuel to embolden my campaign, maybe want to run more, and maybe run, you know, the pedestrian thing that we did. Right. And both of you guys ran pretty kick-ass campaigns, I just gotta say, right? So, everybody in office has their own approach to creative change, their approach to getting things done. How would you describe your approach to creative change? And since you have started this, have your colleagues embraced you since you've been here? Do you feel as if your colleagues gravitate towards you? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It's hard to just give one word to describe my approach to governing, but I think a lot of my activist spirit lives on through how I am as a legislator and as a legislator. I'll give an example that just happened in New York. So every single year in New York City, there's a mayoral appointed board called the Rent Guidelines Board. It consists of 9 members. The mayor gets to appoint, and they decide every year how much the rent goes up or down or stays the same. Now, in New York City, we have the mayor who has been bought in by the real estate lobby. I would say what oil is in Texas, real estate is in New York City. And he made a sizable amount of appointments on this board of property owners and landlords and folks that do not understand the plight that many tenants are going through within New York City. And I am always frustrated with people that there's only so much I can do as a member of government when people need as much help as they can get. And there was a guidelines board hearing where they were proposing a 16% increase to rents within New York City. Now, rents in New York are already ridiculous, but a 16% increase put the people out on the streets. And I went there, organized with a couple of tenant groups and a couple of my colleagues, and we took the stage at the Rent Guidelines Board hearing, making a lot of noise about the issue that was at hand. And then following that, we took to TikTok. We told people about what was going on, and we let them know about approaching Rent Guidelines Board hearing where individuals were able to testify against how they do not want to see an increase in their rents. And usually these hearings have about 16 to 20 people that show up, but our video went viral, and we turned out over 1,000 people that showed up to this Rent Guidelines Board hearing. We pushed the rent increase from 16% down to 1.5%. That's what I'm talking about right there. And 1.5% is still too much, but I think the fact that we were able to get people engaged in democracy prior to decisions being made is always, you know, the spirit that I want to carry within my level of governance. Absolutely. Let's give it up for that. And you guys know I'm from Texas. And I was getting TikToks about the work that she was doing, and I was like, man, geez, that's a lot of work. All right, I can't follow that up. But yes, you can. When I think about you know how to govern, I think there are 3 big questions, 3 goals that are part of organized country. Coalition building, coalition expansion, and then whether to compromise or whether to confront. I think we'll start with coalition building. So I like to look at what nonprofits are around, what advocacy programs, and really just from the beginning of my career start a small communication. I know that we share values, share goals. We might not be, we might do different policy priorities as priorities on the agenda, but I think there's a lot of teamwork there. And in that occasional communication, I'll say to them, look, take an example like community control results. We worked with the local ACLU on that, and that was their priority. But through that priority, we found ways in which me
know that government really wants to. And so if we harness everyone's energy, if we harness the existing energy out there, we can build those intergenerational diverse coalitions to push forward real substances. Now, oftentimes though, you're working with these nonprofits, these advocacy groups, it can feel pretty limited. And I think this is where Doris expansion comes in. More people than you think there are. And even though I think voting rates up in local elections are maybe, I've been talking to people, I've heard 10%, 20%, 25% of people that are connected. There are more than 25% of people who care about politics, and 100% of people are outside politics. And I think a failure of local government, particularly in the last few decades, has been to give us a really limited view of what local government can do and what local government means. And so, when I think about local government, I try to reframe it, especially for young people. We care about justice, we care about equity. Housing justice, that stuff happens at the local level. Even climate justice, what really affects the local level? When we talk about voting, we're looking at racial disparities that can happen for the last few decades. Housing justice is racial justice, is climate justice, is all of these different priorities that we're working on. And all of that matters for local level. And so when I talk about a pothole, I don't just talk about a hole in the middle of the street. I talk about a pothole in terms of an equity issue. Because when we look at the neighborhoods that have potholes, that need sidewalk repairs, that have underground streets, we notice that those neighborhoods tend to be poor, they tend to be black, indigenous, people poor schools, and we need to be refocusing our resources on those things. And I think young people are uniquely a generation that gets it. We get that justice matters, we get that justice is complex. And it's not just about giving everyone the same thing, it's about being targeted and smart with how we act. And I think when we reframe city politics in terms of that, we were able to expand that coalition.
I just want to add to, and I love everything you just said. I love our colleagues in government who sit at the federal level, but I think that the reason so many people have distrust within democracy and believe that politicians are full of shit, excuse my language, is because there is a muck and a mud that exists within Washington, right? Every single issue is partisan. It's very hard to get some of these, bigger picture changes to come into fruition and benefit our community. But I believe that local government and participating in local democracy is how we build trust within our democracy. If you can bring tangible changes to someone's community, to someone's block, to someone's street, they are looking at you as an elected official, as someone who got something done, and makes them feel good about where their vote went. Now, when people are only voting for president or Senate or even Congress, I sometimes feel like they believe their vote goes nowhere because of the mock agenda that exists in Washington. But we need each and every single one of you to show up in these local races so that we can help people and show people how their vote really matters at the local, state, maybe the federal level.
100%. And we need to tell people that in order to rebuild faith in our democracy, that democracy is
Like I just got 40 composting bins to my district. People are shocked at the fact that a change like that can happen. But it's something they can touch and feel and throw their organic waste out. So
great. Waste isn't sexy, but it's a really clear way to show people that government works.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing our time and priorities. I think one quick class.
I'm doing this. I like to listen.
I think one quick last thing when issues come up in that is whether it's worth it. And I think there are times where it is worth it to compromise. I think as long as it's something you put out with something that you believe in and that you agree in, it's good. But I think that politicians, especially the old liberals, misread their willing to compromise. I think when I talk to voters in the ground, it's clear that leaders like me and I have a mandate to push for government to make real substantive change. And I get the inkling, I get the kind of the sentiment that compromise is good, but I do think compromise is good, but we need to people often believe that when they see bills pass on the federal level, and they don't see things happen immediately, they feel as if, why is it that I showed up to vote? And that has a down effect on every single race every day that's happening. I mean, happening in the like on city council races, marriage races, and I think that having a strong relationship with our local officials, so we can get those conflicts, so we can go and fix those problems. So we can say, hey, you know what, we have a cancer cluster in the neighborhood, we got to go to Target and do that. It is local officials that go and get that done, and these two friends right here are showing exactly why every young person in America needs to show up and go to their local run. And run.
Yeah, I was just talking to, I was talking to you yesterday, right? We were talking about, you know, this young icon thinking about running for office.
Woo!
I think that the conventional path in which people take to run for office is, you know, they're a staffer, and then, you know, they work in the campaign, or they have to pay their dues, or wait their turn, or the Democratic Party tells them that, you know, we'll look out for you in 5 to 10 years, and then you'll be the one that's overseeing. If you have ideas and you disagree with the person who's your representative, run. Like, I think that even if you lose, you're pushing the mantle of what their policy plan is. You should always, if you feel like you're in a good place to run, you should definitely do it, because for the better democracy, we need more young voices at the table. And you might win. So,
You will win.
and you will win.
You will win. Well, what I always say is, elections are a conversation. And if you want to change that conversation, you have to be in that conversation. So, you know, even if the odds are long, please run. Please take that conversation. Because if you don't take that conversation, other people are taking that conversation. All right, so I want to shift gears a little bit. So, I like this conversation. It's fun. You guys have fun. We're having fun. So, you know, being in office means that a lot of your time is taken up. I mean, a lot of your time is taken up on events, policy making, organizing, making sure that people understand what's going on. So, how does that affect your personal life? Do you have a personal life? Do you have time to, like, how do you pencil it in instead of watching courtrooms, things like that, the mundane tasks? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard. I represent 177,000 people, and New York is a very compact city, so every time I go out, I will run into someone that I know. Sometimes I'll be like at a party and someone will approach me with a constituent concern about
You answer.
I guess, yeah.
Don't be on my day.
It's definitely it's tricky. I mean, this job is 7 days a week. I'm not sure about your 7 days a week. You're always on. I'm going back to the district right after this to go to like 5 block parties. You know, but
Let's get over that. Come on, guys.
But we have to make time. I think what makes politicians rotten is when they make this their entire lives. And you know, they put so much into this, which you should, but you have to care for yourself and your well-being. And I always push for balance within work. And I think that you know, capitalism expects us to work extraneous hours, and it kills our personality, ourselves, and I don't believe in living that life as an individual. So, you know, balance is always important. I love having a social life. You know, I got to see Beyonce.
Woo! You know, we
There you go. You know, seeing Beyonce makes me a better legislator. Buy tickets to Renaissance.
Actually, not that well.
But balance is so important in order for you to be a good legislator. I feel myself getting crazy when I don't take personal time off, and I get a little snappier. But that's all I.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of why Washington doesn't work is because everyone's so engrossed with politics and they live and breathe it, and that's like to a point, okay. But to be a good representative, you need to be a good person. And you know, people elected you because you're a personal, right? At the end of the day, it's not a
hating them here, though.
I've always heard that. Yeah, I've always heard that. I don't know whether it's a date in Boston or New Hampshire. I'm just like, what? Like, is this okay? Sorry. You're not wrong. Anyways, so when you were running for office, you obviously had to campaign to a lot of different people, and to some of those older voters who might have been skeptical about what is this young person running for office doing. They don't have the qualifications that we claim they need. How did you sell yourself to those older people? Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think for anyone, any young person running for office, it's a question that can answer pretty easily. I found that organizing is really helpful. I think folks here, I mean, I'm sure tons of folks here are organizers. You're used to, let's give a shout out to the organizer. Yeah. I'm gonna see the hand. If you're an organizer, raise your hand. Look at all the organizers we have. Yeah. So y'all are pretty prepared actually, because when you organize, I think you learn to listen. You learn to listen to what other folks want from their government, what their aspirations are, what their visions. And what I found really helpful with older folks is when I knocked on their doors, when I had those conversations with them, I think I was able to build that shared vision with them, a shared vision of government that works better, that serves folks more equitably, a government that really protects people's freedoms and seeks justice for everyone. And these are all values and messages I think that everyone cares about. And so I think the first step is building that common vision. And then on top of that, the big question is, I think for any politician, not just a young politician, is how do we achieve that vision? How are we achieving these goals? And that's maybe where some of the homework comes in, where some of the policy, where it's maybe more about policies on your website come in. But I think that if you can prove that you have a shared vision, and then if you can build on top of that shared vision, so I'm young and rigorous, I want to get this done, I'm ambitious, that ambition is good, and older folks like to see that. And they trust us more than we think.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I remember door knocking and having doors slammed on me. I remember people laughing at my face and asking how old I was. People literally being like, you look like a baby. I didn't have enough testimony for me a couple years ago. But, I was very honest about who I was and what I was doing. And I think that I wasn't trying to be another candidate or someone who I wasn't. And I think that is so essential in one success through the campaign. You have to be upfront about who you are and what you stand for. And then I just threw a question out there whenever, it came to my age. And it's like, do you like how things are? Do you like your local representatives? And you keep on electing, the same person that you believe to be fit within this role, yet you are uncomfortable by the situations that you are consistently in, right? You are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to see different results, but you're seeing the same, you're seeing lack of results, right? And I think that really convinced a lot of people to try something new. I think they wanted
cosplay being a politician. You're right. That's like, you both fail in winning, right? You're not resonating with the voters, but you're also failing yourself. You're failing the theater mission that you're running. You're not wrong. I used to not wear suits as much as I do now, but I call it my council member drag Fair enough. So, if you guys can't tell, we really could talk here all day. And it's been so much fun being here to talk with each and every one of you. Before we close, I want to ask a question that I think is very important. This process is very important. And through the way, I think what makes each of you so successful is that you had an idea and you went out and did it. You saw a vision for change and you went out and did it. So through that journey, would you say there was anything that you would have done different? I would have deleted my tweets before I ran for office. That would scrub your social media. I mean, we're children of the internet. I've been on, social media since I was 12 years old. You say a lot of crazy stuff. I understand. I'd do anything different. I would do that, and I would, I think I like how everything was. Besides from that, I think, everything happens for a reason. I don't know. I would, I don't know. I mean, something I didn't use a leader. I do not. I didn't really use Twitter. I'm gonna have to like delete my old TikTok that I made years ago. Y'all doing TikTok dances in the pandemic? What? Huge shirt bag. Okay. It was savage, right? It was savage. I would reach out to my local DOT chapter, we gotta get that in there. Yeah. I mean, like, realistically though, I like reach out to your local. I would have reached out to like local youth activists and listened to them how they were in what they thought works. I am pretty happy with Container, and I think that's one thing is I would have spoken more openly about mental health. I think we need to speak. I think we all need to speak about mental health, especially when you're in the political realm. I'm happy to do my job, but it doesn't mean that every day is always tip-top stable, right? And other politicians feel the same. I think we all struggle. I think we all need to be a little bit more open between ourselves and with friends and about how it's difficult to talk to me and how, I think the worst part is when you have people talking shit about you online and you've never met them before and they don't know who you are. And I think, I think one of the good things about being a politician is that you have a go-to community to talk about those things with, and you have your volunteers to support those things, and you can be honest about that. So, if there's anything that I do to know this any questions from those? I think that'd be very good. All right, let's see. Who has questions? Let's see. It was hard. I mean, I think I had a very different journey in terms of fundraising than even some of my colleagues. I think, I built up a bit of a following on social media after protesting, and I think a lot of the momentum from that was able to receive, sizable amount of grassroots donations. But obviously that slowed down throughout my campaign. Call time is so important. You need to be looking through your Rolodex
issues with some of those that you do, asking them to donate $5, $10, $25. I found social media to be really useful in fundraising. Making videos and speaking directly to the camera, asking people for donations. That was where I got some of my most valuable, largest contributions. Urgency is really important. Every time there's a fundraising deadline coming up, even if it's not we're just going mid-fundraising. Yeah, mid-fundraising deadline. Midnight is the last chance that you get to donate to my campaign. People love that. Yeah, people that love you and want to support you will donate in those moments. I will also say that I think that we do this across the country. I'm not sure where you live. Where are you from? City? North Carolina, okay. I'm not sure if this exists in North Carolina, but in New York City and now in New York State, we have a matching funds program. So every donation from a New York City resident is multiplied by $9, so that we could diversify the amount of candidates that we have in local races, so that it's not just people with money running for office. And I think programs like that need to exist in every municipality and state government in the country. So that helped me out for sure. But I out-fundraise every single person in my
Woo! That's all I'm looking at. I don't have much to add to that. I think that's pretty much the roadmap. I think we all have a strength here, which is our youth is our strength. And as we tap into that, if we can tap into, we might not all be able to donate $1,000 or $500, but we have friends and we can build that network with ourselves. And I think also a lot of folks are looking for young voices. They're looking for that new energy, that new vision. And if we can articulate that, be it during full time, be it at events, and if we can be honest about the fact that we need to fundraise, I find that the money goes from.
One thing I'll say, I'm so sorry, is it's hard to raise money. That's why you see some of these vultures. That's what I call them, some of these vultures moving into these races, whether it's, fossil fuel tax, real estate organizations, in my case, police unions. And I rejected, money from Malta, but I made it a point to not accept contributions from individuals. That's a good one. Once they give you a large check, whether you like it or not, they own a little bit of you, and you see that in how that takes place within local government, of course.
So we are having to wrap it up. I want to give an opportunity for one more quick question. It's a quick one. Let's see. I think this is an interesting question because I think this worked out really well for me. I talked less about campaign promises, but I talked more about execution. And I think that's all. I find the older establishment politicians are always trying to trap me by saying like, oh, but you can't achieve this big vision, you can't achieve it, you can't achieve that promise. And I'm pretty open with the voters. I need progressive support on the city council. I need others who will step up as well. And I'm going to fight like hell to get that vision in place. But I think it's important to tell voters to be upfront with them. I can't promise everything, but I can give you a vision, and I can promise you that I'm going to try to deliver that vision. And in the last 2 years, I was looking through my website very often. I'm off this year again, and I got about 50% of my vision, passed. Yeah, I might not have told them promises, but they sold out from that. And right next term, you'll get the other 50%. Exactly. Yeah. So we both need your support. Yes.
Please donate to our campaign. My website is chiosse.com. Any donation would be amazing. Tell New York to donate as well.
Yes. This race will be money. Mine's Justin Ford, number 4, Medford@com.
Well, for campaign promises, I think there were some issues that I definitely put forward, like tackling the road problem within New York City. We harassed a rat action plan, the rat plan from our city, we do. Rats. Obviously advocated for pushing for affordable housing, keep those in my district. We completed 2 projects, or at least the funding of 2 projects, and we're trying to complete more. And of course, that's tangible change that I promised or advocated for in my campaign. But I ran on a 3-pronged strategy and what I told voters I would do. That was reimagine, reinvest, renew. I want to reimagine trust between the people and democracy, and I think that I do that every single day. And being their elected official, I want to reinvest, reallocate funds from related harmful agencies like the NYPD and reinvest into mental health services and education. We haven't gotten that part done yet, just from here to the top. And we want to renew. We wanted to again renew. We wanted to renew the relationship that people have with their elected officials, because far too often when you think of a politician, you think of something bad, and I hope that I'm thinking of that in everything I do.
Yeah, I think if there are any promises, it's that my relationship with voters will be, where it's going to be something different. I'm going to try my best to reach them different ways, engage folks in different ways, uplift, marginalize folks. I clearly need people to participate in them. And I think that's, the promises I made are things that are more important.
Well, I'm sure we will definitely be sticking around to answer more questions after this, but I definitely want to say, how many of you guys want to run for office in the future? Do you guys, let's get that up. Now, do you guys feel better about running for office now that you've heard these 2 speak? I want to hear about that. Are you guys feeling better about running for office? I want you guys to know you guys are indeed the leaders of tomorrow. You are going to make the change. You will get elected, and we will all see you at the top. So thank you guys very much for a great panel. We'll see you soon.
Give us a round of applause.
All right.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have a very special treat. We have the founder of Jane, a 3-row underground abortion service, and the current president of the Midwest Academy, a leader and organizer, a mentor, Heather Boone.
Are you ready to organize? Are you ready to change the world? Are you ready to win? If we organize, we can change this world, and we need to organize. You're not only the voters of tomorrow, you are the organizers and the leaders of tomorrow. You're the people who will do the work, engage other young people to vote, and make the difference and change this world. It matters especially now because we are on a knife's edge. So many of our precious freedoms are at stake. The freedom to vote, the freedom to thrive, the freedom to love and marry who you wish, reproductive freedom, and more. Versus an authoritarian rule fueled with threats of violence and the undermining of democracy, all on the knife's edge. But when we organize, we have changed this world. We need to do that now. I first learned this lesson in the civil rights movement when I was 18 years old. In 1964, I went to Mississippi with the Freedom Summer Project. Some of you may have heard about that. I was a northern student recruited with many others who went south to support extremely courageous African Americans who were being thwarted and terrorized when they tried to register to vote. It was during that summer, say many of you have heard of, when 3 of the young volunteers, Andrew Goodman, James Chaney, and Michael Schwerner, were killed at the hands of the Klan. But within a year, because people organized, we won a Voting Rights Act. Often it's young people willing to take risks because they have a spirit and moral commitment and vitality. And also, young people often are hold them down of even with the joys of children or mortgages or long-term work commitments. Now, these are also a reason why some people of my generation and older people are able to take additional risks. And so we can have an intergenerational alliance and can provide a spark for change. After 50 years, for 50 years, we were able to make real progress, creating greater democracy. But now we face this backlash, challenging our freedom to vote, our freedom to even have a democracy that functions. When I returned to my campus, and a friend of mine said that his sister was pregnant and nearly suicidal and not ready to have a child. And could I help him find someone to provide an abortion? Now, in 1965, this was, it may be hard to believe that we barely talked about sex outside of the privacy of our most intimate relationships. And I never talked about abortion. But I said, as just trying to do a good deed, I'd do what I could. So I went to the medical arm of the civil rights movement, and one movement supports another. And I found an extraordinary doctor, Dr. T.R.M. Howard. And I didn't know it at the time, but he had been a great civil rights leader in Mississippi when his name appeared on a planned death list, in part because he called for the investigation of the murder of Emmett Till. Now, when that happened, by the way, he then moved to Chicago because his name was on a planned death list. He provided the procedure, and the good deed was over. But then word spread and someone else called. I made the arrangement with Dr. Howard, and then word spread and someone else called. And I realized I better set up a system. But because in Chicago, and in most places around the country at that time, 3 people talking about arranging for an abortion was a conspiracy to commit a felony. I'm not sure I knew that at the time, I knew it wasn't legal. And so he said, we call the system Jane. And rather than saying call Heather or an individual name, he said, pregnant, don't want to be, call Jane. And while there's much more to the story, we recruited a number of other people, and we built a network of Jane over time. And the women of Jane learned how to do the procedures. And between 1965 and 1973, when Roe became the law of the land, the women of Jane themselves performed 11,000 abortions. In 1973, we won Roe because we organized, because people took action. They did just what they're doing, and then voted for people who would support this change of the law. We still have much further to go. We have to ensure that there's access for many people. But over time, we made change because people organized on this most intimate decision of our lives about when or whether or with whom we have a child. And the vast majority of this country believes that no politician should come between a woman and her doctor on this most intimate decision. But now we face a backlash, and the right wing and their corporate supporters, many of whom may not even care about abortion directly, but they're Republicans and MAGA faction who want to make sure that they don't have to pay any taxes or can drill for oil like the Koch brothers wherever they want. They've made this a partisan issue, and it's driving women back into second-class status so that we can't have full participation in society. 1 year ago, we had the Dobbs decision made by 6 Supreme Court justices who were nominated by presidents who didn't win the popular vote and reflected their own personal religious beliefs, contrary to the views of the great majority of this country. There are now 20 states where abortion has been effectively banned or allowed under such limited circumstances that it's virtually unattainable. There are horror stories about a mother and daughter facing prison time because the mother provided pills to facilitate an abortion with their then 17-year-old daughter. This week, that daughter was sent to jail for 90 days. In Texas, there's a $10,000 bounty for anyone who reports someone else is planning an abortion. And last week, 4 women testified that they wanted a child, but their medical problems so severe, and were denied access in a timely fashion, so that they went into septic shock and other life-threatening illnesses until they were able to receive the care they needed. The majority of this country agrees with us on reproductive freedom, on sensible gun laws so we can live free from the threat of gun violence, on taking steps to address climate change in this hottest summer in recorded history, and on democracy and holding free and fair elections. We need to make the difference. When we organize, we have changes. When we vote and get others to vote, we will change this world. It's up to us together again. When we organize, we can change this world. You've done it before, you can do it again. Are you ready to organize?
Yeah!
Are you ready to win? Are you ready to change this world?
Yeah!
Thank you so much for what you've done before, what you're about to do now. And I hope to celebrate our future victories together with a future. Voters of tomorrow, voters of today, and changers of this world. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Heather. We will now be moving into breakout rooms. So if you did power mapping